Hi, boys and girls. It's so glad that you came to class. Oh, good. Legal concerns and insurance. Anybody know anything about insurance? Nothing? Yeah, it's like protection. You're betting you're going to screw up. That's what you're doing. So you have liability insurance. All right. So we buy liability insurance because we don't want to. Absolutely not. But you're betting you're going to screw something up, meaning that you're going to make somebody get hurt or you're going to do something wrong at work. But liability is the state of being legally responsible for the harm one causes another person. You have a car, you have liability insurance. You drive that car into the back of a pickup truck at 60 miles an hour. Who legally tore up the truck? You did. You drove that car into the back of the pickup truck. So you're liable for it. So you're legally liable for that. So it's not so much just causes to another person, or it can be property. So there must be a loss. You can't just go and say, oh, you looked at my truck wrong and now my truck doesn't work. No, no, don't work that way. But there's got to be a loss. Let's say that you accidentally hit somebody's truck, right? And you've got a hoopty. Not a good old-fashioned hoopty, like an Olds 98 Regency Brom. But instead, you got a hoopty like a Yugo. They were a car company for about 4 years out of Czechoslovakia that built a very inexpensive car. Since it was inexpensive, it wasn't a tough, great big road, an Oldsmobile, Olds 98 Regency Brom, made out of good old-fashioned American steel. This is made out of aluminum. Brom. Look them up. Olds 98 Regency Brom, B-R-A-U-H-M. But anyways, the Yugo hits my truck, and my truck has no damage on it, but the Yugo is all screwed up. Liability? Yeah, I mean, if there was something wrong with mine. So, negligence. Are you negligent? You have lunch? Negligence. The failure to use ordinary or reasonable care. Common sense. Okay? Care that people would normally exercise to avoid injury to themselves or to others under similar circumstances. All right. So here I am. I'm the big bad football coach, and I see lightning all around us. Matter of fact, I saw it strike the building. An ordinary person is going to say, that's too close. I don't want to get struck by lightning. But we got a big game this week, and every minute of practice counts, so I'm going to keep him out there. He gets struck by lightning. I'm being negligent. Exactly. Care that persons would normally use to avoid injury to themselves or others. So, how about the standard of reasonable care? So, you guys, this is what I tell these guys all the time. You're not in charge of injuries when you go on the road with those kids. You got that, right? You're not the top person in charge of injuries when you go on the road with kids. You are helping with the injuries. You are our facilitator, our eyes, our liaison, but you're certainly not the one. That would be like me saying, I'm going to put a child who is just beginning to get their feet wet into knowledge in charge of the health care of another child. That doesn't sound too smart. Would a reasonable person do that? Probably not. So the standard of reasonable care assumes that an individual is neither exceptionally skilled nor extraordinarily cautious, but is a person of reasonable and ordinary prudence. Somebody chokes on a Whopper, you know, those nasty malted chocolate covered milk things, right? What would you think? What? Heimlich. Sounds good. It's not coming out. Certainly. But I'm not expecting you to do a tracheotomy on them. Okay? Well, there are people who think that they've seen a tracheotomy done on MASH, which was many years ago on a TV show. And so they'll say, do you have a ballpoint pen? Because that's what Hawkeye did. Cut him open, put a ballpoint pen in there. Oh, he's breathing. That worked. That is not ordinary and reasonable care. All right? Doing the Heimlich maneuver, yes. Not doing it, no. Well, it could be. So, the athletic trainer who is licensed, certified, and educated is expected to act in accordance with those qualifications. Meaning, somebody comes in, they sprain their ankle, we want to make sure they don't have a fracture. We don't want to say, oh, come on, suck it up, buttercup, get back out there. That's not in accordance with what we have as far as our knowledge. So, we have to act not as everybody else, but we have to act a step higher. Doctors got to step higher, big time. So, torts, they are not pastries. Oh, those are tarts. Don't roll your eyes at me. Torts. Torts are legal wrongs. Know that. Torts are legal wrongs. You have either committed against a person or property of another. Torts may be from an act of omission where a person fails to perform a legal duty. All right. So all you girls have, maybe you don't, little boyfriends, right? And so it's Joey, my cousin Joey. Right? I've told you 100 times, leave my cousin Joey out of this, but you all think he's always the greatest, cutest little boy. He's so funny. He'll treat me great. Well, she starts dating Joey. She goes, that's awful. I like Joey. Joey says, oh, you like me too? You like me too. So he goes to the movies with this girl, and then goes to the Late Show with that girl. The Late Show. You know, it's all what's the one that Meatloaf became famous in? Um, no, the movie, the Late Show movie. It was always they used to throw bread out. It'll come to me at some time, maybe. Anyway, so Joey. So you ask him. So what did you do after we left? I went to the movies again. I went and watched that. Can't remember the name of it. Yeah, he told you what he did, but he didn't tell you the whole truth. So he's lying by not telling everything. Same with an act of omission. Just because you think that you actually have to do something to be legally wrong, that's not true. You can not do something and know that you were supposed to do it to have a legal wrong. Filing your income taxes, you know you're supposed to, but you didn't. What? Huh? Huh? Get it? Torts may be in the form of act of commission, meaning you do something wrong. All right, so I'm a football coach again, okay? I've seen them trainers use that machine over there. So let's just turn it on. We'll use that ultrasound. I see the button, and I turn it on, okay? And now, my intentions might be good, but I don't know what I'm doing, and I end up burning the tissue underneath the skin, cooking the muscle. Is it a tort? Is it a legal wrong? Probably. Could be. It certainly is negligent. Torts may be in the act of commission where one performs the act that is not legally his or hers to perform. Either instance, whether you use commission or omission, it's still a tort. So, just be common sense. And I know it's tough for y'all's age to use common sense because you try and think too hard. Quit thinking. Just do what common sense will tell you. You get a whole lot farther. So you got negligence. It is alleged when an individual does something that a reasonably prudent person would not do. Here we are. We're out here practicing football in the lightning. Reasonably prudent person going to do that? No. It's 112 degrees out here. We're going to go out there at 3 o'clock at the heat of the day and practice football in full pads. Full pads. And not have water because it makes you wimpy. And we're going until 6 o'clock. We're going for 3 hours. A reasonably prudent person is not going to do that. It fails, or two, a person fails to do something that a reasonably prudent person would do under circumstances similar to those shown by the evidence. Well, evidence shows that you're out there at 3 o'clock, you're going to get heat stroke. Common sense. Examples of negligence: through improper or careless handling of a therapeutic agent, such as an ultrasound, a coach, or an athletic trainer seriously burns the athlete. You hear me every time I put that on, right? I put those pads on. What do I say? Feels like it. Hey, if this feels like it's burning you, because it is. Speak up, roll over, bark like a dog, do whatever you got to do to get my attention or get it off of you. But if it feels like it's burning you, it's because it is. All right? So, how about moving an athlete? They got injured and they can't get up. They're still hysterical, etc. So, we need to practice right here. I mean, I know we got a whole other field, but that's just one person, and there's 99 more of us. Why should we have to have 99 people move that? Come on now. That doesn't make sense, does it? That's me. So, moving a person or an athlete with a possible serious injury from the field of play to permit competition or practice to continue, and does so in either an improper manner or without consulting qualified help. Oh, absolutely. Here, I don't know. I don't think I've seen it here. Saw it one place. Crazy. So, statutes of limitations. Statutes of limitations. There are some crimes without statutes of limitations. The word statutes, what does that mean? The word statutes. Laws. Under the statute 42357, you shall not steal pencils in the school library. I don't think they would go that far to say in the school library, but you not steal pencils. Under statute 8375B2, you will not speed on a public highway. Statute. Well, statutes of limitations mean there's limits to those laws. So there's limits. If you get hit in the car, you've got 2 years. 2 years to sue that person and get it taken care of, or it goes away. That person doesn't have anything to worry about for the rest of their life on that single deal. Okay? So it sets a specific length of time that individuals may sue for damages from negligence. It also sets a specific time for the popo, the 5-0, the big coppers, to arrest somebody on certain crimes. You think murder is one of them? Probably not. You did murder 50 years ago, and you got away 50 years ago with it, and then you started running your mouth on Facebook, right? You won't believe how often people run their mouth on Facebook. And the cops use it, of course. That's their greatest detective tool is the own suspect. The length of time varies from state to state. So what might be 2 years for a car accident in Texas might be 5 years in Pennsylvania. So know your laws, if you need to, especially if you're the one suing. So, assumption of risk. All right. Common sense, people. All right. Those of you here in class, raise your hand on any of the statements that you agree with. If you play volleyball, there's absolutely no chance of you dying from volleyball. Y'all think there is? How? Huh? Well, Okay, let's go to something else. You don't fall. Uh, if you swim, there's no chance of dying. Common sense. If you're gonna be okay. How about this? Who here practices in assumption of risk today? Me. Who practiced assumption of risk today? All of you should have your hands up. Did all of you ride in a vehicle today? You assume the risk that that vehicle is gonna, it very well could blow up, get hit by a train, a UFO can abduct it and take it back to Mars. Exact. You assume that. But you make a judgment call, and that judgment call is, I've been in this car 50,000 times. I know people who get in cars 50,000 times, and nothing's happened to them. I mean, it's safer to fly. Why don't you just buy an airplane and just fly from home and fly to the school? Right? The reason it's safer to fly, less people fly. The reason it's safer to fly, there's less pilots flying than what there are drivers driving, which minimizes the amount of error that can happen. So assumption of risk, the athlete understands the dangers associated with participating in a particular sport. And you participate voluntarily anyway. So all of you have filled these out, right? Have any of you read them? You've signed the back of it saying that you agreed to everything on it. Well, this is your contract that says, this is my name. Really? Do you know that it says in here that at any time, if I shall ask, you're to give me, to keep your cell phone. Not give it back, for me to keep as a present. Yes. You don't know because you didn't read it. Really? Does it talk about sudden cardiac awareness? Does it? Does it tell you that in here? Yes, it does. It tells you about sudden cardiac awareness. All right. Oh, holy smokes. This is section 7. I know it's real small. But can you read what section 7 says?
All this?
No, the top.
Oh, full participation, wager, serious, catastrophic, and perhaps fatal injury may result from athletic
Participation. So we are, as a school district, telling you, you participate in athletics, there could be a catastrophic injury, there's going to be injuries, there can be death. And that you agree that you assume the risk of that death or that injury. No, why? You're the one who wanted to play. Now, if I was negligent, now being held liable goes back to liability, one who is legally responsible. But if I've done everything right and just so happens that, bam, you got hit the wrong way, the wrong time, but I've taught you the right way every time, I'm not liable. It was just a freak accident, right? It's just the way it is. So you can try to, and we'll talk about lawsuits in a second. How long does this thing go today? 10 minutes. Good. Assumption of risk can be a defense for negligence, but the burden of proof is on the defendant to show that the risks were explained and understood. Why do you think we keep these for 5 years? What? Hold on. What? Who? How would I be held liable? I told you not to jump off of it. I can lead a horse to water, but I can't make him drink. But if I'm not around, I don't know that as far as reasonable and prudent care, that I have to tell you everything you can and cannot do. I mean, common sense says you should not be on the roof of the school building over Christmas break. But children still do it. Yes. 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 We explain it in here. It's in here at least that time. And then I really think there's a concussion management portion in here. There are signs of concussion. There is also a helmet warning on it. Okay? Do helmets prevent concussions? Why do you say that? So why wear a helmet? Let's get rid of them. I mean, they're pretty.
It reduces the risk.
I think it actually improves the risk of a concussion.
I wouldn't doubt it.
We're not talking about that.
Oh my god.
It doesn't. It's not the same apples to apples on that. Quit eating food in here. All right? It's not the same analogy. Okay? No, they don't. Helmets don't reduce the risk. Why do we wear them? So you don't have skull fractures. Pretty much. Pretty much. You should see what happens. It's the brain that has shock wave that goes through it. You're going to stop shock wave. So, product liability. Manufacturers of an athletic equipment have a duty to design and produce equipment that will not cause injury as long as it's used as it is intended. So, if I'm making tennis rackets and I'm making them out of fishing line that's like steel, okay, yeah, the ball goes faster, but when it breaks, fragments can fly off. But the risk is so low, we'll just tell you to wear glasses. I don't think you're going to get away with that. I think there's going to be a public outcry saying that you're building a product that is unsafe. It is their duty to build a safe product as long as it's used as intended. So, a football helmet. What is the intention of a football helmet? Yeah. What about for broken necks? What? Helmets don't cover your neck? No. Yeah. Well, you get high blood pressure, you don't put your medicine straight to your heart. Could. Covers your head, which is right above your neck. But there's kids all the time that break their neck playing football because they'll put their head down and hit somebody. If I don't know if I can find it, but I'm going to look. I'm going to try and find. There's a kid over at Spring High School that did this about 2 years ago, maybe 3. Put his head down, and as soon as he went here, went that, and then tried to ram him. And he did. Hit him. Broke his neck instantaneously. Fell down. He's a quadriplegic now. It means he doesn't use his arms or his legs. Well, he can be in anything, but he can't get in it by himself. So if he's 17 years old, one, his life expectancy is not going to be near as what it was. His quality of life is certainly not what it was. And the millions, not just one, but several millions of dollars that it's going to take to keep this boy alive, fed, housed, taken care of, is just unbelievable. So, a friend of mine who's an athletic trainer up in the Metroplex, he had a kid die while playing football. Got hit in the head, he died. He died at the hospital. Okay? But let's go back and I'm gonna weave them together. All right? So the kid that broke his neck, he's now paralyzed. Right? What happens? First step is family comes around, they're worried about my cousin Joey. All right? So while Joey's in the hospital, they're doing surgeries, and moms and dads and aunts and uncles and cousins and friends are all coming by. They're all going down. They're getting the Texans to sign a football. Here, this is for you. We love you. We want you to get better. And they're sincere. Then mom gets what? And that makes her very angry. Someone's going to pay for my baby getting hurt. So what does she do? Nope. Files a lawsuit. And who's the lawsuit against? Nope. Nope. The helmet company. We're suing that helmet company. Why? Because he's wearing your helmet and he broke his neck. What's the helmet just do? Is it supposed to keep you from breaking your neck? No. And they were winning these lawsuits left and right. You know why? Failure to warn. You didn't warn me. I thought that this would help protect my neck. So, on the back of every football helmet, there's a deal. It says helmet disclaimer. Every football helmet has it, and we have included it on our paperwork. So the parents can have it, sign it, and say they understand it. At the very back of this, it says, you understand 1, 2, 3, blah, 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 all the way to 11. I have read all the way to 11. I agree with the statements from 1 through 11. We've warned you. So, they sue the helmet company. So the helmet company then hires a lawyer of their own. All right? So it was your baby that broke his neck. They hired you, the lawyer, who's now suing the helmet lawyer, who's now after me. Well, it wasn't our helmet. I'm going to tell you what the problem was. Is we're going to tell you that it was the football coach and the athletic trainer and the position coach and pretty much the whole school district. So now this has trickled over into back home. So that's what happened with the kid that passed away up in Irving. She hired a lawyer. The lawyer hired or sued the helmet company. The helmet company said, no, it's the trainer's fault. How is it the trainer's fault? Well, because you're not following the rules that are in the state of Texas for athletic trainers. Yes, you have your license. But do you have the delegation of authority from a team physician to say that you can actually work as an athletic trainer for this school district? Well, most people don't know about that. We do. We had it signed and it's in the office. But if I didn't, that opens just that little bitty door. And he's just gonna keep taking his pocket knife out and just whittling away until that door doesn't fit. And then it's gonna be my fault that her kid had a bad accident. To me, that's not a really good lawsuit. But they work because of failure to warn. So, in your deal, what's your thought? Is that lawsuit like a true lawsuit? Is it really their fault? Or can there just be those things that happen? You put your head down, you're taught every day. Look up, face, you hear them, don't you? Look up. Don't get, yeah. And they still do it because they watch those guys on TV that'll do it every now and then and get this big hit. And you hear, ooh. Well, ooh might be the last thing you hear. Okay, we'll stop. We'll stop there because now what we're going to do is we're going to get more into the insurance side.